Welcome to Timothy Baby Boy Mulligan's Guitars, Mods, and Music. And today what we're working on is a BBM-NY custom shop guitar. I got a donor body and neck, and this is the new logo that's actually going on all of my custom builds. So it says BBM-NY Custom Shop Rockstar US Veteran Built, because I'm a veteran. And this is a dual hot rail, and then these are T's pickups and T's wiring. I took this out of my old ST1, my shell pink, because it had a bad bridge pickup when Torsten gave it to me. He gave me a new pickguard to put on that guitar, loaded up. So I took this one and replaced the bridge with a dual rail pickup. And it is going to be a pearl pickguard. And of course, that's the back plate. So we just got your standard tremolo bridge in there. And we're going to heat wire these because there's solder in there, but we're going to use the heat gun to heat that up and solder it. Then we're going to put my logo on the neck, and then we will just oil the neck to seal it. And we've got some roller string trees to go on there. And some Safu locking tuners. And then we're going to do a fret job. I'm going to check the frets and do all that. So, one thing before we get started, if you could please like, subscribe, and leave a comment and tell me what you think about the guitar and the video. So, let's get to it. And it doesn't take long for these to heat up and melt. Wood. These. Be careful with these because you don't want to heat up the pick guard too much. Warp it. You don't want to heat up your potentiometers too much because you don't want to melt the solder. Right. You can see that silver when that solder comes out. Doesn't take long. That's in there. I know I can see it right there. That's in there. So we'll give that a second to cool down so that it's a good solder point, like this one is. All right, so I gave these a minute to cool. Now we're just going to flip this over. And we'll just get this guy in here. Okay, so with this, and this is how this happens sometimes, some of these pick guards, I can see all these holes are going to line up. But what we're going to have to do is, you notice this is not sitting correctly. So we're going to have to get this out of here. And we're going to have to just take this edge down slightly. Get that to fit just a scotch. So, let me set this here. Organized yet messy. I know where everything is. I don't have a lot of room because I don't have like shelving. When I buy my house, I'm going to definitely do some shelving right in front of my workstation. I'm going to take this off. We're going to need two things. We're going to need this, and we're going to need this. This one's seen better days, but it'll work for this particular job. So we don't make a mess all over the guitar when we do this. This right here. Make sure you don't put too much pressure. If you put too much pressure, you take too much off in one spot. Evenly go back and forth. Take this guy out of here, and we'll put this one on. This one I can get in tighter. And I can even out that edge so it's not sharp. Hopefully you can hear me. So, this is where I love this stuff. I got cans of this. It's cold in the hand quick though. You gotta do it in short bursts. Alright, let's see if that did it. Garbage. Doing a lot of work on guitars. That garbage is starting to get full. Let's put this off out of the way for a minute. Let's see if we did enough. How far are we off? My screw holes. So I'm not going to make you go through all the painstaking of doing this, but now you know how to do it because I showed you. So we'll be back. All right, guys, and sometimes no matter how hard you try up here, sometimes down here you gotta do a little bit of routing here too. So now, if you've never done that before, what I suggest you do is you, on the back side, do this, and you draw a line on the back side, just how far you need to take off. Let's see, got anything left in that one? Nope, that's done. That's why I got so many cans of this. And it would vacuum it up off the floor, but you can't vacuum it up off the guitar. So now this baby should fit right in there. First, we're gonna just give this a little wipe. Make sure we got all the gunk out of here. All right. Always be delicate with the wiring. Okay. So we've got almost a perfect fit. Let's get that tremolo bar to check that. So that's got clearance over there. Need to take a little bit more off on this edge here to make this even. So if you look at that, you can see that's uneven. So I'm just going to take a little bit more off to this side to even that up. Like I said, always be delicate with your wires because you don't want to pull stuff apart. Because even though it's soldered, if you pull, it's coming apart. It doesn't take much, guys. Now, if you got an air gun around your shop, that's better than this. Almost perfect. It's a little bit more of a gap. But I like to take it off in little bits. So I'm going to pause the video again because I don't want to take up too much time and make the video too long. Be right back. All right, guys, we've got this on here now, and we've got free flowing motion. So, time to take this out. Since we'll be working on the guitar. There's what we've got so far. Now, the next step will be BBM. Okay. Make sure that's all cleaned off. And these are better than a water slide. They're actually a sticker, but they go on like a water slide. They stay on there good. Get these on eBay. Or not eBay, sorry, Amazon. So, it's just a pain to get started when you have no nails. This is where it pays to have nails. There we go. There's the edge. I found it. Okay. So the keys, you gotta peel these off. Nice and easy. And you gotta line them up where you want them. I like to get it right near the edge there. I like this to be up towards that last hole. So, if you don't want to press down on these too hard, because then you play hell getting it back off. You want to go on a nice angle like this. push down too hard, it sticks too much to this sticky surface, and then you lose these little letters, like we're about to do right here. Sometimes you got to push them a little. Once you lose that, that's it. Precision, precision, precision. Same thing with the rock star. You got to be careful here. And I like to put my finger on it to hold that down. And you can pick whatever words you want on these. They're completely customizable. Put whatever you want on your headstock. But always put these on before you put any kind of finish on the guitar headstock, because otherwise they might not stick, especially if you use oil. I learned that the hard way. I put oil on it and it sat for a month. I tried to put one of these on, wouldn't happen. I had to scrub it, Dawn and water, let it dry, put this on, and then re-oil it. So there's the finished product. And then you can use True Oil, you can use F1 oil, you can use any kind of spray oil really to seal it. That's while I'm in there. Gotta keep it neat, fellas. Gotta keep it neat. Ladies, whoever's watching. And I like to use a fresh spot on my rag because you don't want anything dark on there. I'm just going to put a little F1 on here to seal it. Just a little, not a lot. Bam. There you go. Done. Just enough to seal it, just like we're going to do on the fretboard. Just enough to seal it. This has got a finished neck, but the fretboard is not. So there we go. Actually, I'm going to keep this down here and move that stuff down this end. A better angle for you to see. All right, I'm going to get set up to do the headstock, and I will be right back. All right, so off camera, I put the roller string guides on because I wanted to save a little time. The video was at 25 minutes because this is pretty quick. So these just pop right in. I like to do all the setup ahead of time, so all I gotta do is slap it together like this. If you'll notice here how I have it set up, everything's all already put together. Makes it quick and easy. I just not snug them, but just get them so I can move them to put the screws in. Now, if you have a donor guitar, always make sure you reuse your screws for the back of the tuners if they're savable. This way you don't have one that's too small. Some of these, when you get these locking tuners, sometimes they're not the right size, and you gotta mess around with that. I don't like to do that. So I always try to be very gentle taking these out. And after we get this together, that's going to be it for today's video. And we will have a part 2 finishing the guitar off. Because I really don't like to do videos more than 20-25 minutes at the most, but this is going to be just about 30. Okay. And you always want to use a nice fine tip screwdriver. And these should line right up with the old holes. And that's why I use these tuners. I use Safui, and then I use Music Lily, or Sefu, whatever this is. Or Metalor. Metalor is good too. You just want to get these tight, because once you snug the other side, you're going to have to come back and retighten these. So I just get them so that they're snug. Boom. Snug drawers, aka snug. One of our guitar peeps, snug drawers. Oop, I'm knocking stuff over. And I'll just snug these up. Don't want to make them too tight. And I got a nice 10 millimeter that I use, but I just so happen to have these out on my bench, so I didn't get my 10 millimeter socket to do this. But either way, if you have decent tools, either way it works. All right, so that's going to do it for the video for today. We got our locking tuners installed. We've got our BBMNY on here. Custom Shop Rockstar, U.S. Veteran built. And one more look at the guitar. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think so far. Hey, your boy Mulligan, signing off. See you next time.